Hey everybody, it's the Chris and Des Show. I'm Chris.
And I'm Des.
And today we're going to talk to you about the new film Darkest Hour, which is about Winston Churchill. Des, what do you think?
This story, actually, I'm really glad we saw Dunkirk earlier in the year because this is a story that is happening at the same time as that movie.
Coincides.
Only this is what's going on in London with the government and everything. And I didn't know about the whole Dunkirk thing in the first place, so this is very helpful. But so Churchill gets put into power early at the beginning of the movie, and then he has to come up with and decide how if they're going to enter into this war and how they're going to and all that stuff. Here's the thing. This movie is 100% Winston Churchill. And it stays on him the whole time. And it goes somewhere at the end that the last act came and I was like, oh, okay, now I'm back. But it had lost me before that last push at the end when I was like, oh, yeah, oh, and then they had me back again. But it was a little bit too much before that. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. I don't know if I'm explaining myself well, but yeah, I think Gary Oldman was amazing. He was Winston Churchill, and the prosthetics and whatever was on his face, like I couldn't even see Gary Oldman in it. It was just, I felt like it was definitely Winston Churchill doing all this, and I thought it was an interesting story, and not having known the history. I'm not really into the histories part, but that was interesting to learn all the stuff that was going on. I won't be going back to this movie, and I would probably recommend it to more people than I would, like, what was that last movie we talked about?
Phantom Thread.
Phantom Thread. I would recommend this for more people than Phantom Thread, but I don't know. It was just kind of meh. But Gary Oldman was impressive. He was impressive in this. And again, that last act, they had me back again. Because I really enjoyed that last part, the very end of this movie. I really loved it. So they lost me a little bit in the middle, though. What did you think?
Yeah, Des is right. That
well, I like it when you say that.
It's just... It's okay.
Yeah.
It's whatever. And which is sad because I would hope it was better. I love history and I love, here's the sad thing is everybody loves World War II history, even though it's a horrible time. But Dunkirk is a far superior film to Darkest Hour. So if you want a World War II movie, I would say watch Dunkirk because it's just a better made film in general.
Well, yeah. I don't know that I would call this a World War II movie. Happening during World War II, but a war movie, I don't know if I'd call it a war movie. Would you call it a war movie?
Well, I would, just because, that it only takes place during this war, and it's all about his decisions for the war. There's no fighting. It's not like an action
Yeah, that's
movie.
what I mean.
Yeah. But it just during this time, you like the history part of it.
Right.
And it's interesting to me the way that he decided to direct it. And I was just looking up Joe Wright. He's a slower director in general, Pride and Prejudice and Atonement and stuff like that.
Okay.
But he chose the way, and maybe it was the writing even, but here's this film and here's this story that has so much intensity to it. Like every second, it's like, are we going to get blown up? Are we going to go with Hitler? Are we going to agree with him? Are we going to go against him? These are dire situations.
Big stakes.
It doesn't feel like that all film, and that's kind of the problem, I think. But as I was saying, Gary Oldman gives a fantastic performance. No one can deny that. And the makeup that's what I walked away like, wow, the makeup was fantastic in that film.
Seriously.
And the costumes and set design are all great as well, too. It's very time period oriented, and it's very well done. All that's well done. Kristen Scott Thomas is good. Ben Mendelsohn is good. Lily James is good. And as well, too, all the acting's good. It's just something. It's just lacking something.
Yeah.
So it puts it in the
It might be the pace.
That was okay. I think I think that's what every person that I've talked to about this movie has said that exact same thing. Like, it was okay. Okay, because that's exactly
Yeah.
the feeling you get, which is sad because I had hoped it to be like that was so good.
Right.
Yeah. So I would recommend it to some people who really like history, maybe, or who really don't mind a slow or paced film, because it is a slower paced film.
Yeah.
Especially for World War II.
Right.
We're used to like Saving Private Ryan, Dunkirk, and those aren't slow paced films. And so it's a different film, a different feel, I should say.
Yeah.
So that's what we thought.
There you go.
Let us know what you thought.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.